The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27 verse 1. Have you ever found yourself in a moment when everything seemed to be falling apart around you? Those moments when, no matter how hard you try, nothing seems enough to overcome the obstacles in front of you. What if I told you that there is a strength within you, a divine strength waiting to be revealed right when chaos seems to take over? A strength that many will never discover, but one that can transform your life. Now imagine yourself in the midst of the storm. Doubts and fears begin to accumulate, and the question that echoes in your mind is, am I strong enough? But what if the strength you're looking for doesn't come from you? What if it's already being offered by God, just waiting for you to recognize it? Are you ready to discover this truth that can change the way you face life's challenges? In this video, we'll explore the clear signs that show you possess impressive mental and spiritual strength. These traits not only demonstrate how resilient you are but also highlight God's hand guiding each step you take. Are you prepared to see what sets you apart from others and how this strength can help you overcome any adversity? Don't be mistaken. The journey we are about to begin is not for the faint of heart. God has a greater purpose for your life, and the challenges you're facing right now are just the beginning of the preparation for something far greater. Are you ready to see what few can perceive? If you're here today, it's no coincidence. This is the moment to awaken the strength that resides within you. True strength doesn't only come from the experiences we go through, it comes from something much deeper, something beyond the physical and emotional. God is the source of all resilience. In every moment of difficulty, He plants in us the ability to overcome what, to human eyes, seems impossible. When we feel weak, He is the one who sustains us. Have you ever stopped to think that often, it is in the darkest moments that God's presence becomes most evident? When we face the greatest trials, it's easy to feel lost, fragile, and unable to move forward. However, it is in these moments that God works most in our lives, shaping our character and preparing us for something greater. The resilience we feel is not natural but a supernatural strength that comes from Him. The more we trust in God, the more He guides us through life's storms. Have you ever gone through the feeling of being completely alone, with no one to turn to except God? These are the moments when our true inner strength is revealed. It is in solitude and doubt that God gives us the ability to endure, not because we are strong on our own, but because we trust in Him. Our faith becomes the key to our resilience, and our dependence on God empowers us to face the hardest trials. When everything seems lost, it's our trust in God that keeps us steady. He is our refuge and fortress, and while the struggles attempt to destroy us, God is always present, ready to strengthen us. True mental and spiritual strength doesn't come from our ability to face problems alone, but from our capacity to trust in God, allowing Him to guide us through everything. Delivering our struggles to God is the key to moving forward. This is how we can continue even when everything around us seems to be falling apart. The resilience you feel, that ability to persist despite adversity, is not something that comes from you. It is a gift from God, given so that you can navigate life's storms with confidence. The more we trust in God, the stronger we become, not because we are capable but because He is capable. When this divine strength manifests, we realize that we are capable of facing any challenge that comes our way. Have you ever wondered if mental strength is something we are born with, or something we develop over time? The truth is, mental strength is forged through difficulties. The battles we face throughout life shape our character and resilience. No one is born fully prepared for the challenges life brings, but those who overcome difficulties are the ones who choose to trust in God to guide them. Think about the times you were pushed to your limits, in situations that seemed impossible. It is in these moments that your faith is tested, and often what many do not realize is that these challenges are, in fact, opportunities for true strength to manifest, the strength that comes from God. Each challenge we face is an invitation to strengthen our faith and build a resilient mind. When we compare people who rise up against adversity with those who crumble, the difference lies in the trust each person has in the divine plan. Those who trust in God know that challenges are not the end, but rather an essential stage for spiritual growth. They choose to believe that even in the darkest moments, God is by their side, guiding their steps. And that is what makes them truly strong. What's most fascinating is that mental and spiritual strength is not only formed in the great battles of life but also in the small decisions of daily life. Every time you choose not to give up and decide to trust in God instead of surrendering to despair, you are strengthening your resilience. These choices shape who you are and show that true strength is a combination of conscious decisions and divine grace. The real question then is not whether you were born strong, but whether you are willing to answer God's call to become stronger each new day. Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your faith and discover just how powerful you can be with God by your side. Your strength is both a gift and a choice. By trusting in God's plan, you become capable of facing any battle life places in your path. True mental strength is something many seek, but few truly understand. It is not limited to physical or emotional resilience, but to spiritual strength. God gives us the tools we need to face life's difficulties, and those who possess this inner strength demonstrate qualities that set them apart from others. But do you recognize these qualities in yourself? There are clear signs that indicate your mental strength goes beyond the ordinary. These signs are proof that you are ready to overcome life's challenges, not because you are invincible but because you know where your strength comes from. And believe me, these qualities are deeper than you might imagine. They reflect not only what you've learned throughout life but how much God has been working in your heart and mind. True mental strength is not something that is visibly displayed to the world. On the contrary, it is quiet, internal, and constant. This type of strength reveals itself when you least expect it, especially when life's pressures are at their peak, and you realize you are capable of standing firm. The most impressive thing is that these qualities are not signs of mere survival, but of overcoming. They show that you do not just face challenges, you rise above them. As we continue with this video, you will recognize some of these characteristics in your own life. Whether it's in how you balance your emotions with reason or how you handle your mistakes and move forward, each of these signs confirms that you have something extraordinary within you, strength that the world cannot shake because its origin is divine. As we explore these signs, ask yourself, which of these qualities are part of my life? If you recognize one or more of them, know that you are stronger than you think. God has been strengthening you with every challenge, and your journey up until now is proof of that. Now, let's dive deeper into each of these signs and discover what truly makes you mentally stronger than most. If this message is resonating with your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like and share the video. Let's walk together on this spiritual journey of discovery. Many believe that true strength comes from hiding their weaknesses, but in reality, it comes from recognizing them and allowing God to transform them into something powerful. In fact, true strength comes from the opposite. Recognizing our limitations is a clear sign of maturity and great mental strength. When we accept that we cannot do everything on our own, that there are areas where we need to improve or even seek help, we are taking the first step toward our growth. This self-awareness is what separates those who merely survive from those who truly thrive. God doesn't expect us to be perfect, but He expects us to be humble enough to acknowledge our flaws and seek His guidance. He calls us to surrender our weaknesses because it is precisely through them that His power is most clearly revealed. Have you ever noticed that the times when you needed strength the most were the times when you felt God's presence most intensely in your life? This happens because when we admit our weaknesses, we make space for Him to enter and strengthen us. Recognizing our limitations is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. It means understanding that no one is perfect and that true strength comes from knowing where we need to improve. Imagine an athlete who ignores their weaknesses. They will never be able to reach their full potential. In the same way, when you accept your areas of difficulty, you allow God to work in you, shaping and strengthening your life. Furthermore, recognizing your limitations also brings you closer to others. When you are transparent about your struggles, you allow others to see your humanity and connect with you more genuinely. True mental strength is not about being invulnerable, but about being authentic and knowing that everyone faces challenges. Asking for help, whether from God or from the people around you, is an important step toward becoming stronger. Remember, it is in weakness that we find strength, not because of our own ability, but because God sustains us at every moment. Admitting that we need help, whether spiritual, emotional, or physical, does not diminish our strength. Rather, it makes us even more powerful because we know we are not alone on this journey. In times of crisis, it is natural for emotions to intensify, especially when our decisions are at stake. However, true mental strength is revealed in the ability to balance emotion and reason. It's not about suppressing emotions but knowing when to let logic and faith guide our actions. Those with exceptional mental strength understand that, while emotions are real and intense, they should not control all of our decisions. God gives us discernment to act wisely even in chaos. Have you ever been in a situation where all you wanted to do was react impulsively? Perhaps a heated argument or a difficult decision. The true strength of someone who balances emotion and reason lies in stopping, breathing, and reflecting before acting. This balance doesn't arise overnight. It is forged by faith and trust in God, with the assurance that by trusting in Him, our choices are not driven by fear or anger but by His will. When you allow reason, guided by faith, to prevail over impulse, you are shaping a strong character. God has given us the ability to think deeply and, at the same time, to feel intensely. Strength lies in knowing how to balance these two forces. It's not that you ignore your feelings, but that you recognize the value of reflecting before acting, always seeking divine guidance. In the most challenging moments, this balance becomes crucial. Imagine being under great pressure and needing to make an important decision. Giving in to emotions may result in hasty choices and regrets. However, by surrendering the situation to God and allowing His wisdom to guide your actions, you demonstrate a deep level of mental and spiritual strength. It is in this balance that you find clarity and direction, knowing that, with God, all decisions can be made with peace. True strength is not the absence of emotions, but the ability to put them aside, allowing reason and faith to take the lead. By doing this, you not only act with wisdom but also strengthen your trust in God, knowing that He is in control, even in the most complex situations. Self-discipline is one of the most powerful qualities of mental and spiritual strength. Being self-disciplined means not depending on external factors to move forward. Your motivation comes from within, and this inner strength is what drives you, even when no one is watching. Those who possess this strength know that true victory does not come from applause or public recognition, but from persistence in fulfilling what has been determined in their heart, guided by God. True strength is not demonstrated by the absence of failures, but by how we deal with them. We all make mistakes at some point, it's an inevitable part of life. However, true mental and spiritual strength arises when we face our failures with wisdom. Those who possess this inner strength understand that mistakes don't signify the end, but rather an opportunity for learning and growth. God grants us the grace of new beginnings, and those who understand this rise after every fall, stronger and wiser than before. Strength is not about never failing, but about knowing how to get back up and move forward after stumbling. When we make mistakes, the natural tendency is to sink into feelings of guilt, shame, and self-punishment. However, truly strong individuals, both mentally and spiritually, do not allow these emotions to consume them. They understand that failing is part of the journey and that, instead of dwelling in the past, the focus should be on learning and growing. God teaches us that mistakes are opportunities for refinement, not destruction. By learning from our failures and moving forward, we are shaped into stronger, more resilient individuals, more aligned with His divine plan for our lives. This perspective doesn't mean ignoring the pain or frustration that comes with mistakes, but recognizing that, rather than defining us, they have the power to strengthen us. Every time we rise after a fall, we not only increase our resilience but also draw closer to God. True strength comes from trusting the divine process, knowing that no matter the mistakes we make, God is always ready to restore and guide us. With this faith, we can continue our journey, confident that with each challenge overcome, we are one step closer to fulfilling the purpose He has prepared for us. Life, with all its ups and downs, is never easy, but it's precisely in difficulties that our faith is strengthened. Those with solid faith do not fear hardships, for they know they are merely temporary parts of the journey, each with a valuable lesson. Even in the most difficult moments, when it feels like everything is falling apart, those who trust in God know that He is working in silence, preparing the way for something greater. They understand that each storm is an opportunity to grow and that, after the winter of the soul, spring will bring renewal. We cannot avoid challenges, but we can choose how to face them. When we accept adversity with serenity and faith, we show that we are stronger than we think. This doesn't mean denying the feelings of difficulty or discouragement, but recognizing that, with God by our side, we can overcome any obstacle. The highs and lows of life are not punishments, but opportunities for us to grow closer to Him and strengthen our trust in His plan. This trust is what allows us to face anything, knowing that with Him beside us, no storm can bring us down. Therefore, as we move forward, even in the face of adversity, we must remember that each challenge is an opportunity to become stronger, more resilient, and more connected to our divine purpose. Our true strength is forged not in the absence of difficulties, but in how we choose to overcome them with faith, perseverance, and trust in God. God doesn't want us to stay trapped in our past mistakes, but rather to use those experiences to become more resilient, mature, and prepared for the future. The real secret lies in seeking transformation and learning from failure. Those who are mentally and spiritually strong understand that every mistake carries a lesson, and that God is always ready to guide us back to the right path. Forgiveness, both for ourselves and others, is essential. By releasing the weight of the past, we open ourselves up to the new possibilities that God is preparing for us. The most important thing is understanding that our mistakes do not define who we are. What truly matters is our ability to move forward, trusting in divine grace and the plan God has for us. Each mistake is an opportunity to start over with more wisdom, and true spiritual strength lies in knowing that even when we fall, God is always there to lift us up, purify us, and guide us back to the path of righteousness. Rather than allowing our mistakes to paralyze us, we should use them as stepping stones for growth. God doesn't expect perfection from us, but He does expect us to have the humility to recognize our mistakes and the courage to begin anew. That is what makes us mentally strong, not the absence of flaws, but the ability to overcome them with faith and trust in His divine plan. True strength is not only revealed in what we can endure, but also in what we can offer to others. Those with extraordinary mental and spiritual strength are driven by generosity. They understand that life is not about accumulating for ourselves, but about positively impacting others. God calls us to be channels of His grace, and generosity is one of the most powerful ways to manifest this grace in the world. Being generous is not limited to giving material goods. It also involves giving time, attention, and love, often when we are facing our own internal battles. Mentally strong people understand that by helping others, they also become stronger. Each act of kindness is a way to demonstrate God's love while simultaneously strengthening our own spiritual strength. There is immense power in generosity, especially when the circumstances around us tempt us to do the opposite. When we are in times of scarcity, whether emotional or material, those who are truly strong continue to give what they have, trusting that God will multiply what is given with a pure heart. They know that by blessing others, they too are being blessed. Generosity comes from a place of spiritual abundance, not fear or scarcity. God teaches us that it is more blessed to give than to receive, and those who live with this truth in their hearts become mentally stronger. They see every opportunity to help as a chance to serve others while also strengthening their faith. This generosity reflects God's unconditional love, which He gives without measure and expects us to do the same for others. Finally, true strength is not measured by how much we can endure, but by how much we can share. Being generous, especially in difficult times, is proof that we trust God to provide for our needs. By blessing others, we sow for a future harvest. This generosity is the essence of spiritual strength, a strength that transforms not only the lives of others but also our own. Dedication is the foundation of a strong mind and spirit. Those who understand the power of dedication know that the greatest results require continuous effort and unwavering faith. God calls us to be persistent, even when the path seems arduous and obstacles pile up. True strength is not in starting a journey, but in remaining faithful until the end, regardless of the circumstances. Imagine someone training for a marathon. At first, there is enthusiasm and energy, but as the training intensifies, fatigue sets in and doubt arises. Those who are mentally strong do not quit when they feel tired, but they keep their eyes on the prize, knowing that true victory is not just crossing the finish line, but in the entire process of overcoming. The same applies to spiritual life. Strength comes from consistency and dedication in the small daily steps. True dedication is revealed in moments when motivation seems to disappear, on days when it's easier to give up. Those with spiritual strength remain steadfast, trusting in God's plan. They know that challenges are part of the growth process, and faithfulness, even when everything seems complicated, will be rewarded. God honors those who stand firm, and it is this trust that strengthens those who continue walking, even when the path becomes more difficult. Dedication is also a commitment to faith. It is continuing to believe even when the answers are not immediate. It is staying firm in prayer, values, and God's promises, knowing that He always fulfills what He promises. True mental strength is not just about resisting challenges but also about dedicating ourselves to something greater than ourselves, God's purpose. Therefore, dedication is a way to demonstrate trust in God, proving that, despite challenges and trials, you are committed to the path He has prepared. Staying dedicated even in difficult times is a clear sign of mental and spiritual strength, and this dedication, when guided by faith, will take you farther than you can imagine. One of the greatest strengths someone can have is knowing how to balance the pursuit of personal improvement with accepting who you already are. God calls us to evolve, but He also reminds us that we are loved just as we are. Those with mental and spiritual strength understand that the desire to improve doesn't need to be accompanied by constant self-criticism or dissatisfaction. On the contrary, they find harmony between the desire to grow and the self-love of the present. Reflecting on this might help you realize that self-acceptance doesn't mean complacency. Accepting yourself is recognizing your qualities and limitations, understanding that every part of your personality is part of God's plan. True strength is knowing that there is always room to improve and grow toward the divine purpose. Improving oneself is a way of honoring the gifts God gave us, but it should never be done at the cost of self-love. The balance between acceptance and personal growth is delicate, where you acknowledge that you are constantly evolving, but you also know that progress does not define your value. Many fall into the trap of thinking they must be perfect to be worthy. But true spiritual strength is knowing you are already valuable in God's eyes. Accepting yourself today is an essential part of becoming the person you want to be tomorrow. Those with inner strength understand that mistakes are part of the journey, but they don't stop them from moving forward. They know that God loves them unconditionally, both in times of success and failure, and it is this love that gives them the strength to continue evolving. You can love yourself while seeking to be better, and this harmony is what allows you to move forward without feeling overwhelmed or demotivated. Therefore, finding the balance between self-acceptance and personal improvement is a clear sign of mental and spiritual strength. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of God's love, and at the same time, you can dedicate yourself to growing and evolving, knowing that this process is part of the journey He has prepared for you. This balance is the key to a fulfilling and strong life, both mentally and spiritually. Taking responsibility is one of the most evident marks of a strong mind and spirit. Those who are mentally strong understand that, regardless of circumstances, our choices have consequences, and we are responsible for them. God gives us free will, but He also calls us to reflect on our attitudes and decisions. True strength lies in acknowledging mistakes, taking responsibility, and seeking to improve, instead of blaming others or circumstances. How many times have you found yourself in a difficult situation and felt the temptation to blame circumstances or the people around you? However, those with high mental and spiritual strength know that growth comes when we accept our own flaws and learn from them. God invites us to take control of our choices because it is in this process of taking responsibility that we become more aware of what we have the power to change in our lives and in the lives of others. Those who are truly strong know that taking responsibility opens the doors to transformation and spiritual growth. This is a sign of maturity. Only those who recognize their faults can correct them, and by doing so, they align themselves with God's purpose, allowing Him to work in their lives and shape them according to His plan. Taking responsibility is not just about accepting what went wrong, but being proactive in changing what can be improved. God gives us the ability to learn from our mistakes and, through His grace, offers the chance to start again. True strength lies in rising up after each fall and, instead of getting stuck in what went wrong, seeking the lessons that can be learned. Therefore, when you take responsibility for your actions, you are demonstrating unwavering trust in God and in the ability He gave you to grow and evolve. This is true spiritual strength, not the absence of mistakes, but the courage to learn and improve with every challenge faced. By taking responsibility, you come closer to fulfilling the purpose God has for your life. Today's journey has revealed a powerful truth. True strength does not come from our own ability, but from what God plants inside us. Every characteristic we explore is proof that mental and spiritual strength is available to all who trust in the divine purpose, who don't give up in the face of difficulties, and who allow God to guide them every step of the way. Now ask yourself, are these qualities present in your life? Are you able to recognize the balance between emotion and reason, the strength of acknowledging your weaknesses, and the importance of generosity? If these truths resonate in your heart, know that you are more prepared to face adversity than you think. God is with you in every battle, shaping and strengthening you for the challenges ahead. If this video moved you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel The Awakening of the Chosen for more reflections like this. Leave a like and share with those who may benefit from this message. If you are seeking spiritual evolution, don't miss the recommended video. Remember, the strength you need to succeed is already within you, planted by God, watered by challenges, and strengthened by your faith. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these strength qualities do you most identify with? What did you think of the video, and what topic would you like to see in future videos? You are part of this community, and together we continue to grow, guided by the light of God.